Hello everybody, my name is Niharika Jain. I'm a master's student studying computer science at Arizona State University. Today I'm going to give you guys a little mini lesson on variables. And the problem we're going to be solving today is converting somebody's Earth weight to the moon weight. Of course the moon is a lot smaller, so the weight of somebody on the moon is going to be about 1/6 of the weight it is on Earth. So our program is going to do three things. It'll take in some user's Earth weight, it'll make a calculation for whatever that corresponding moon weight would be, and then just output that as a message. So let's begin. I'll take an input with the little prompt. So input your weight on Earth. And what I want to do is store that value that the user is going to be giving to the program into something that I can use and manipulate later. So this is going to be a variable, and I'll name that variable user input. That equal sign just shows us that the value to the right of it is going to be stored into somewhere in memory, some box in the computer, and I can access that value with the name user input. So let's just go ahead and see if that works. I'm going to print out that value in memory by referring to its name. Let's run the program. Input your weight on Earth. I weigh 92.7 pounds. And then it'll output the value. So our input and output functions are working pretty well. Let's go ahead and move on to calculate the corresponding moon weight. We should maybe be able to just multiply, right? So I'm going to take that user input and do the multiplication. I'm going to multiply it by 0.165 since the moon weight is about 1/6 of the Earth weight. And let's take that new value and put that into a new variable. I'm going to call it moon weight. So should I be able to just print out moon weight? Let's go ahead and give it a try. Input your weight on Earth, again, 92.7. Oh no, there's an error. Well, what went wrong? Those first two lines are fine, of course, but the error happens right here. The moon weight equals user input times 0.165. What happened? Why couldn't it do a simple multiplication? Well, let's go back and think about it. The user, they're supposed to be inputting a number. We know that. That's the program's job, is to take in a weight. But the user could theoretically have put in anything. Input, all this does is take in some sequence of characters as text. So it thinks it's getting text. Of course, I can write 92.7 as text, but we know that it's a number that can be calculated. So how can I make sure that the computer knows that my user is going to give it a number? Well, I can just convert this variable to a float. A float is a decimal value, and then I can do any mathematical calculations with that decimal value. I'm going to go ahead and assign this value to a variable called Earth weight. Let's do a recap of all of our variables in the program right now. We have user input. This is a string. We have Earth weight. This is a float. And then we have moon weight. So now we want to do a calculation on numbers. So we're going to do Earth weight times 0.165. Now this program should work. Let's give it a go. Input my weight, and great. Now it's going to do a calculation, and it's going to give me an output. Now let's just work on cleaning up the code a bit. I don't really need this 92.7 printed out again, so I'm going to delete this print user input statement. And also, it's just throwing a number at me, but I'm going to give it some more context and say print your weight on the moon would be. Now let's pause here. Let's think about those types of those variables again. This is a string of text. Of course, I've written it as text. But we know that moon weight is a float. It thinks it's a number. What I'm going to do is make sure that everything in my print statement is a string. So I'm going to convert this to a string by just typing string in parentheses around it. And I'm going to add these strings together. This add, or this concatenation variable, is just going to join string 1 and string 2 and make it one giant string. Now, let's try it again. And now it looks great. Input your weight on Earth, takes an input, your weight on the moon would be, and gives us an output. There's one thing wrong with this code now, and that's this. In general, we never want to hard code values, and that's just because, number one, it's really hard to change if suddenly scientists were to find out that it's actually 0.166 and I had 0.165 70 times in my code. I don't want to go out and change all of those by hand. Another thing is you want to make sure that people know what that value means. So I'm going to make this a constant, and I'm going to make sure that we can only refer to it by the name. So now our code looks really clean in both the input output, and also if somebody were to jump on my code that didn't really know what was going on, they can still understand that 0.165 is the moon multiple. And every time that we use it, it's referring to 0.165. So there we have it. That is how to calculate your Earth weight to your moon weight using variables in Python. Have a great day.